We've borrowed a lot of cool tools over the years in the Grassroots shop. This is one I was not willing to send back. This is a CRC SmartWasher BenchtopPRO, and even 5 years later, it is still my go-to parts washer that I put pretty much every part that comes off a project car through. So why do I use this newfangled plastic parts washer instead of that old school metal parts washer full of kerosene? A couple reasons. First of all, that old metal parts washer full of kerosene, kind of bad for you. I mean, sitting over that breathing in the fumes, you'd be high after an hour or so. And that's not really a great thing when you're working on cars. Another reason, the solvents used in an old school parts washer are pretty darn bad for not just you, but for the parts. I mean, it's not really great to put plastics or rubbers or a lot of the other modern materials you find in modern cars through a bath of mineral spirits or kerosene or any of the other harsh solvents they can use. For the smart washers and a couple other options, the cool thing to do nowadays is to use a water-based solution that's basically fancy soapy water. And now that does a disservice to the engineering and the chemists and all that make this solution, but basically you can get it on fragile parts, plastic, rubber, that sort of thing. It's non-corrosive, it doesn't catch on fire, but it still dissolves grease just as well as a harsh solvent. Now, how do you get the solvent clean afterwards? Because one of the other issues with an old parts washer is you're constantly changing the solution or throwing it in a ditch, which gets the EPA mad, or any kind of other option. You use what's called bioremediation in the case of CRC products like this. So bioremediation is basically fancy microbes that have been trained to eat oil and turn it into carbon dioxide and water. So you put a little packet of microbes into this every month or so, they eat all of the grease and oil and such, and you get clean solution at the end and some carbon dioxide as a byproduct. It works really well. This is about 5 years old, and we've just changed the solution for the first time ever, and still cleans like a champ. What do I like so much about this little parts washer? Why did I throw away my big old school one for it? First of all, it takes up so little space. It's a clever design. Like, we're in my backyard right now, not the biggest shop in the world. Every single foot of space matters. And I love that when I'm done using this, it just folds right up. It's just like that. It's full of fluid. It's ready to use. And then you can tip it right up and put it under a bench or against a corner or something like that. It doesn't take up 3 feet of wall space like every other parts washer when you're not using it most of the time. And then when you're ready to use it, you just open it up, and there you go, full of fluid, ready to use. Another thing I really like about this is that it has a little drying rack built in, which is really clever. Usually I have to have a second cart or save some workbench space or something with paper towels, but now you can grab a part right out of the bucket, clean it, and put it in the drying rack to drain back into the sump. It's just a really clever way to use the lid of the device and make it easier to clean parts. So would I ever go back to a traditional parts washer? In this case, meaning one full of mineral spirits or kerosene. Honestly, no. This thing cleans probably 95% as well, but it doesn't irritate my lungs when I'm using it. I'm not constantly worried about it catching on fire. I don't worry about what I put in it, whether it's going to corrode it or etch it or anything like that. This thing works great. I'm never going back. Let's talk about the downside here, and that's price. This is not the cheapest way to wash parts in your garage. It's really nice, it's really durable, it's really easy to use, it doesn't take up much space in the garage, but it's somewhere just over twice as expensive as one of the big box store metal parts washers you've seen. So is this parts washer worth spending nearly $500 on? That's a question you're going to have to answer for yourself. For me, cleaning parts every weekend, not much space in the garage, my canned parts washer budget was starting to go through the roof. I think this makes sense. Again, decide for yourself, but if you need a parts washer, this is the one to get. If you want to learn more about the CRC SmartWasher BenchtopPRO, click the link in the description. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you like and subscribe.
Support brands that support Grassroots Motorsports. Get your chemical solutions from CRC Industries. Visit crcindustries.com to learn more.